Have you ever experienced hurt so bad that it just made you want to disappear? I'm not necessarily talking about church. I'm not necessarily talking about, what happened here. Just you ever had a pain so bad and an emotional hurt so bad you felt it in your physical body? Is it just anybody ever had that kind of hurt? It hurt you to your core, to your pit. You felt your heart. They talk about having a broken heart. You felt that thing in your heart. You felt like you could not breathe. Like God, I don't even know if I can take the next breath because that blow was so harmful. That blow was so hard. That blow struck me out of nowhere, and just to take the next breath seemed like it just hurt so bad, and you couldn't even get yourself together because you just felt the pain of the hurt. It was emotional, but it manifested in your physical. It may have been something in your past. It may have been something that happened recently, but it was such a pain that it made you want to get away from everything and everybody. You couldn't even get your mind straight. You couldn't cope. Maybe it's just me that's had that kind of pain before. I don't know. Maybe you lost a loved one. Maybe you were looked over for a job. Maybe someone did something to you when you were younger and you never were able to get over it. Maybe you were disappointed in a friend that hurt you. Maybe it was infidelity in your marriage. Maybe it was you lost a parent or you lost a child or whatever it is. You ever felt that kind of hurt in your body that it was hard to breathe? Those types of things make you feel like, God, I can't go on. Can you turn the lights up in here for me, please? It's a glare because it's so low in here. But it's one of those things that make you feel like I can't go on. I can't make it anymore. I can't get up the next day. Anybody felt like I just want to stay in the bed? Come on, I need y'all to work with me this morning. I need to see who's in here. I need to see who the Holy Spirit is speaking to today. That I've had that kind of pain that I didn't even want to get out of the bed the next day. I didn't want to have to deal with people. Anybody like that? Like, I don't want to deal with nobody because this thing just hurt so bad. And so now we are here and we're looking at Mephibosheth, and we are in this text, and we're talking about his story here. And he's in this text. The topic is, I'm hurt, but I'm here because I see that has to be a result of. I want to know who it was that's been hurt, because I need to see who's been hurt, but you're still here. I need to see who understood exactly what I was just talking about. You understood that pain, but you're still here. And you still made it here today because there was a pain that said, stop right here. Don't go any farther. But I'm here. And Mephibosheth is in this text, and he's the young son of Jonathan, the grandson of Saul, and he's been hurt. He has been hurt, and we learned on last week that because he was hurt, he ended up going to a place called Lodabar. Y'all, if you weren't here last Sunday, you need to get the message, lessons from Lodabar, because we understood where his hurt took him. And if we aren't careful, our hurt will take us to Lodabar. Our hurt will take us to a place of isolation, and our hurt will take us to a place where we've lost our identity, a place where there is no word because we've been so hurt. But how many of you know that when you get hurt, it's a time to cry out to God? It's a time to be in God's presence. That's when you need to be around him even the more, when you're hurt. But Mephibosheth here in the text, he gets hurt and he's in Lodabar. And now he's coming back in the text, and David says, is there anybody from Jonathan's house or from Saul's house that I can bless? And remember, there's a man named Ziba. And Ziba comes, and he comes and he says, yes, there is. Jonathan has a son. And we learned last week that Jonathan and David were knit at the soul. And so, of course, when David heard that this was Jonathan's son, David said, oh yeah, I got to bless him. I got to bless him. He called Ziba. He asked Ziba, he said, is there anybody left from Saul's house that I can bless? Ziba's answer and his response is yes, Jonathan has a son, but he has to put this tag at the end. He's crippled in both feet. And I came today to let you know and to tell you, don't be defined by your hurt. Don't be defined. See, Ziba acknowledged him as Jonathan's son, but he kept referring to him as being lame in his feet. Ziba wanted to know that Mephibosheth, I'm just going to call him Msheth. That's just too much to be saying all day. Mephibosheth he said, yes, he's alive, but he's been hurt. He's alive, but there's some problems with him. He's alive, but his feet don't work. He's alive, but there's a problem with him. Often the hurt can be so bad that it leaves you with scars and a constant reminder of what happened to you. And people are always there to remind you and others to remind you that you've got scars and that you've been hurt. But I need somebody to declare today that I'm not going to be defined by my hurt. Yeah, because see, he said, yes, his name is Mephibosheth, but he's been hurt. How many of you say, listen, I've been hurt. That was in my past. Stop defining me by what hurt me. Stop defining me by my scars. Stop defining me by what I did. Stop defining me by what happened to me. He was known as the king's grandson, as Saul's grandson. But the thing they kept talking about was his feet. So you can't be, if you won't be defined by your pain, you will not, you will not be defined by your pain, and you will not be defined by your scars. You have to make up in your mind that you won't allow others to be defined you, and you won't allow that to happen to yourself. You won't define yourself that way either. See, at some point, he said, listen, I believe what they had to say. Why? Because if you listen to him in 2 Samuel verse 9 and 8, he said to him when he came to David, he said, who is your servant that you should show kindness to a dead dog like me? He had let his hurt define him. He had let what happened in his life define him. So now he was even begin to think of himself as a dead dog because his feet had been crippled. And I'm sure I can imagine for so long, every time somebody saw him, they asked him, what happened to your feet? Every time somebody saw him, they asked him, how did you get this way? Every time somebody saw him, I could see him. He probably said, you know what? Listen, I'm more than just crippled feet. I got a mind. I got thoughts. I got dreams. I got goals. I got plans. But all you see is the fact that my feet are lame. There's more to me than this. Anybody ever felt like that? There's more to me than this situation. There's more to me than the mistake I made. There's more to me than what they had to say. There's more to me than what was spoken over me when I was a child. There's more to me than that traumatic situation I experienced. There's more to me. And I want to let you know, I told you last week that you are good enough. You got to believe that you are good enough. Even with your hurt, you're still good enough. You got some scars, but yeah, you're still good enough. You dropped and you bruised, but yeah, you're still good enough. Listen, like M. Chef said, he was blessed. He was blessed because of his father, Jonathan. And I got to tell you this, the reason why you can declare that you're good enough is not because of you, but it's because of the blood of Jesus. Hey, God, thank you for the blood. There was nothing you did to deserve it, but the King wanted to bless you, so he showed you grace and mercy because of the blood that was shed by his son. When he looks at you, he sees the son, the blood of his son Jesus. And he said, even though they messed up the blood, I see the blood. I can overlook it because of the blood. It's not because of you. Mephibosheth was blessed because of who he was connected to. You didn't do it on your own. You're not good enough on your own, but because of the blood, that's what your confidence comes in. Because if you try to do it and say, I'm confident in myself, you will mess up. And as soon as you do, the enemy will come at you and the enemy will begin to bring condemnation. But you got to say, listen, I may have done it, but the blood covered me. I've asked for forgiveness. The blood covers me. If you're willing to be like David and have a contrite heart and a broken spirit, the Holy Spirit can come in and renew you and the blood will cover you. The King wants to bless you, but it's because of the blood. He said, I created you. He said, yeah, I got a few bumps and I got a few bruises, but don't count me out. I belong here. Somebody needs to tell the devil, I belong here. I belong in this place of blessing. I belong where God is doing in my life. I belong here. You may not see it, but I belong here. Why do I belong here? Because of the blood. Yeah, you saw my shame and you saw me broken, but don't define me of what you saw me happen and what you saw in my life. I won't let you do it to me and I won't do it to myself. Anybody make that declaration? I ain't gonna let you do it and I ain't gonna do it to myself. You belong here. Is there anybody in here to say, I won't be defined by my hurt? Come on, somebody declare, I'm here. I'm hurt, but I'm here. I'm hurt. You're gonna have to recognize I'm hurt, but I'm here. There is something good in me. I'm hurt, but I can still produce. I can still produce. As a matter of fact, look at verse 12. That's why I had to read that. I was looking at that and they talked about M. Chef and they said, listen. He said he's hurt. But it said he had a young son named Micah. From then on, all the members of Ziba's household were Mephibosheth's servants. But what I wanted you to see is that even though he was hurt, he still had a son. Listen, don't allow your hurt to stop you from producing. Hey, God, don't let it define you and don't let it stop you from producing. You got to keep moving. You got to keep growing. You got to keep pushing. Ziba kept saying that he was lame at his feet, which indicated that he was stricken in an area of movement. And so to be lame means to be stricken, and on your feet denotes the ability to walk or to move from one place to the next. And of course, I wanted to know why in the story, at the end of the story and everything that was happening, they had Mephibosheth being blessed, that it mentioned that he had a son. And not only did the text mention that he had a son, but they listed his name here. And you got to know that if the Bible has a name, there's got to be a reason. So of course, there it came to me, had to be some significance for them mentioning him and mentioning his name. So you know what I did? I went and looked up what his name meant. And Micah means to be who is like God. In other words, even though you are hurt, you are still expected to be like God. You are still expected to produce the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace. Because why? It don't come from me. It comes from the Holy Spirit. And if the Holy Spirit lives on the inside of me, I ought to have the ability to be able to produce regardless of what happens to me. He still said, listen, I'm lame in my feet, but I'm still able to produce. And that's what you got to understand. Don't get hurt in one area and it stop you from producing in another. You know, we want to shut down completely and don't want nothing. You say, listen, he might have hurt me here, but I'm still able to produce. This may have happened to me, but I'm still able to produce. In other words, I got to be like God. There is still something. See, God is a creator. And if I'm like him, there's creativity on the inside of me. And even though I'm hurt, I can't stifle the ability to create. If God creates, you've got to create. Even in the midst of your hurt, yes, something good can come out of what you're going through. That's what you need to tell the devil. I'm hurt, but something gonna come out of this. I'm hurt, but I'm gonna learn something from this. You have the ability to help somebody else. You have the ability to love on somebody. In the midst of your hurt, you have the ability to encourage somebody else. Even though you're going through, God said you can still produce. See, a lot of times when we get hurt, we want to focus on ourselves and woe is me. But I need somebody to see the hands of those who can say, right in the midst of my pain, right with my crippled feet and all that going on in my life, I'm still going to produce. I'm still going to give God glory. I'm still going to hug on somebody else. I'm still going to love on somebody else. I'm still going to encourage somebody else. I'm still going to give the word for somebody else, even in the midst of my pain. Andy Mineo has a song say, you can't stop me. You got to have that kind of tenacity, because Mephibosheth could have said, don't nobody want me. I'm crippled in my feet. Don't nobody want me. But he didn't have that attitude, evidently, because he was still able to produce. A lot of times we look at where we are and declare, don't nobody want this. Nobody want it. Nothing good can come out of this. I'm broken. I'm hurt. Don't nobody want this. But can I tell you, don't give out of your brokenness. Give out of the Spirit of God that's on the inside of you. You got to learn how to keep producing. You say, God, how can I encourage somebody else when I'm so hurt myself? God says, because I expect you to. Why? Because the power of the Holy Ghost lives on the inside of you. And how many of you ever had that happen in your life? You going through and God sent somebody to you to counsel. He sent somebody to you to love on. You're like, wait a minute, God, I'm going through myself. I can't talk to nobody. And have somebody call you for you to pray for them. You can still produce. Don't let your hurt stop you from producing. Don't let what you're going through stop you from being like God. Don't let what you're going through stop you from your creativity flowing. Because what happens is when you get hurt, you want to shut everything down. It is a mechanism of the body. It's how your body works. If you stub your big toe, everything in your body hurts. I saw somebody put on Facebook yesterday, I broke my pinky toe. I never thought it would hurt so much. You ever stubbed your toe? I mean, your mind, it's like everything hurts. And that's what the devil does to you when he hurts you. He tries to affect every area of your life. And even if you got to tell him, I'm dealing with this right now, because you ain't going to stop me over here. I'm still going to produce in this area while I'm working on this area. That's a bad person right there that can multitask. A person that said, while I'm going through this, I'm still going to be taking care of this. While I'm working on this, I'm still going to be giving God praise. While this is being worked out, I'm still going to pray. While this is being worked out, I'm still going to witness. While the situation is being worked out, I'm still going to give. But a lot of times we go through something and the first thing we want to do is we want to stop everything. We want to stop coming to church. We want to stop praise. You want to stop worship. You want to stop witnessing. You want to stop loving on people. You want to hide. You want to go into a cave somewhere. But let me tell you something. You can't go there. Like Pastor said, you can't go to a Loda bar. You can't. Because you got to still be able to produce and say, "Oh, Pastor, that's so harsh." Yes, but I want everything God has for me. So there's going to be a requirement that you can't stop producing. Because guess what? When you come out, everything that you produce comes out with you. See, Mephibosheth produced while he was in Lodabar. He still had to produce something when he came out. Now it said everybody, including his son and all of those who came behind him, are now blessed because he wouldn't stop producing. So, you know, your production ain't just about you, sweetie. It's not. It's about anybody who has to come behind you. It's about anybody who has to come in contact with you. That's why you say, "God, help me every morning. Help me to walk in your spirit." Because the day I'm going through, you know, any ladies, y'all ever jump up, you're going to run to the store real quick. You just, you know, you throw a little something on and now you're going. And of course, that's the day you run into somebody you know. Lord, I just thought I was going to run and get some milk and get out. And that'll be the day that God has you begin to share with somebody. Begin to just somebody that caught you in the grocery store for 45 minutes. Why? If you're open to the spirit, you're still able to produce. If you're open to the spirit, you're still able to hear the voice of God to tell you, "Stop right here. I need you to stop right here and talk to her. Talk to him." And God begin. And how many of you realize that when you do that, you begin to be strengthened? It's when the Holy Ghost begins. When you help somebody else, he will strengthen you. I got to tell you, somebody got to declare in this place that I'm hurt, but I can still produce. I'm hurt, but there's still something in me. I'm hurt, but there's not all there is to me. That place of hurt that's not my only existence. There's so much more to me because I know that God has so much more in store for me. This thing, it was a disappointment. It was a setback, but there's still so much more for God to do in my life. There's still so many more places I have to go. There's still so many more things I have to achieve. There's still destiny that's inside of me. And so I'm hurt, so I can't stop right here because I don't want to miss what God has. And so that's what I want to came to tell you today, that even though you get hurt, you can't die. You got to stay alive. You can't die. I came to speak to your spirit. There's someone in his place. God began to speak to me and tell them they can't die right here. You got to stay alive. You can't let this situation kill you. You got to stay alive. You can't let this thing overcome you. You got to stay alive. I was watching an interview the other morning of Trayvon Martin's mother, Sabrina, the other morning, and she made a statement and she said, "I choose to live. Number one, I choose to live to see my next chapter. Because if my son had died and I had died also, I would just be walking around the earth not doing anything. I would be dead too." Her son was killed and she said, "I can't die. I can't die with him. I gotta stay alive." What I'm talking about here is that you're walking around and you look like you're alive, but you're dead on the inside. Nothing is happening. Nothing is growing. You come to church like everything is okay. You even lift your hands every now and then when the praise team is praising. You know how to give the right response and say, "How you doing?" I'm good, honey. Blessed and highly favored. But on the inside, you are a corpse. On the inside, you've given up. On the inside, there's no life. On the inside, you feel nothing. On the inside, you are hollow and there is nothing there. But I came to speak to your spirit. I came to speak to the dry bones and the dry places in your life like Elijah did and tell you, you got to come together. You got to begin to come together. There is life on the inside of you. You need to declare Psalms 118 and 17. "I will not die. Instead, I will live to tell what the Lord has done." We think it's a physical death, but I need somebody to declare, "I will not die. I will live." You got to fight to live. You're hurt, but you can't die. I know it seems like you just want to lay down and die, but you can't. You have to live because guess what? There are some blessings with your name on it that have been dispatched and they're looking for you. Yeah, David says, "Is there anybody in Saul's house that's still alive?" And God is saying, "I'm looking for some people that are survivors. I'm looking for some people that are still alive. I've dispatched some blessings on their behalf and they got to lie." You got to fight to get your blessings. You got to fight to stay alive, to get what God has for you. You got to fight to stay alive so that you can access everything that God has for you. Listen what Deuteronomy says. Deuteronomy 28, it says, and it shall come to pass that if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, and to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all the nations of the earth. And then he begins to talk about the blessings that are going to come after you. It says, and these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, and thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord. He says, he begins to talk about it. He says that you will be blessed in the city. And you know that song we love to sing? You got to be alive to get them blessings, baby. See, you got to stay here to get them blessings, because they're coming after. The blessings will overtake you. They will overtake you. They will come upon you and overtake you. Why? They've been dispatched on you for you. God says, I'm seeking who I can bless, but I need those people who going to stay alive, who going to fight the enemy enough to say, you ain't getting my blessing. You're not taking my joy. You're not stealing what God has for me. I will be blessed in the city and in the field. I will be blessed in my coming in and in my going out. Why? Because I'm fighting. The devil won't get the best of me. I don't care what it feels like. I'm not going to give up. I need somebody in this place to say, I'm hurt, but I'm here. I'm hurt, but I'm here. You ain't giving that away. That belongs to me. I'm here. I'm present. I came for roll call. I had to fight my way to get here, but I'm here. I had to get through some disappointment, but I'm here. You're not going to take it from me. You ain't going to take the fight from me. I had to go through too much to get here. I had to fight too many devils to get here. I had to fight my uncle to get here. I had to fight my auntie to get here. I had to fight through some pain to get here, but I made it. Is anybody in this place that got a I'm here, but I'm hurt, but I'm here type of fight? You got a hurt, I'm hurt, but I'm here type of fight. If I'm like Mephibosheth, I got to come with my crippled legs. If somebody got to carry me in here, I'm still coming. I'm going to be alive so you can carry me. I ain't getting ready to die in Lodabar. I got someplace I got to be. I've got to reclaim what's mine. I've got to reclaim what was mine. I want to walk into the blessings that God has for me. Woo! This morning I want to speak to somebody's spirit. I was listening to that song by Donald Lawrence. He said, I speak life. You're going to live, my brother, my sister. I speak life. You are the head and not the tail. You will prevail. I speak life. Don't give up the fight for your life. You shall live and not die. You cannot let this pain kill you. I know you want to get somewhere, you want to lay down, but you can't die. I know you want, they say after you have a concussion, you can't go to sleep. They say you can't go to sleep after you have a concussion. Keep them awake. Don't let them lay down. And that's what I'm beginning to tell you in the spirit. You hurt, but you can't go to sleep. Don't you give up right here. Don't you get lax in the spirit. Don't you say, well, I ain't got to be there. I ain't got to pray. No, you got to pray. You got to pray, because if you don't pray, you can't make it. The devil is coming to steal and kill and to destroy, and he won't stop until you are destroyed. Don't you allow him to come into your life and make you stop doing what God has called you to do. But you need to declare, I've got a blessing. I've got an inheritance. I've got something that's been sent out with my name on it. Woo! My family depends on me. See, Mephibosheth had to stay alive so that when David sent for him, he could get access what was for him. But it wasn't just for him, it was for his family. He said, I can't die over here in Lodabar. There are too many people depending on me. I came to let you know somebody's depending on you. Get up. Get up in the spirit. You know they have the defibrillators, and when your heart is getting to go, I came as the defibrillator in the spirit. Tell you, get up. You can't die. You gotta live. You gotta live. You gotta declare, I'm hurt. I'm dragging this leg. I'm hurt. But if you call me God, I'm coming, because I want everything you got for me. Everything in my life ain't perfect, but I'm here. Everything in my life ain't always done the way it should be, but I'm here. I don't always get it right, but I'm here. Mephibosheth had to learn how to live despite being hurt. He had to live despite being crippled in his feet. He had to learn how to live despite people talking about him. And can I tell you that life doesn't have to end just because you've been hurt? Yeah, Mephibosheth, his feet were still crippled from the fall, but he had to live with it. Sometimes you just gonna have to live with it. Look at your neighbor and tell him you're gonna have to live with it. You're gonna have to live with it. He never got healed in his feet. We think we can't go on until it's healed. We think we can't go on until if there's no pain behind it. We think, no, he still had to live even with it being crippled in his feet. He still accessed his blessings even being crippled in his feet. Sometimes there's some things you just gonna have to learn how to live with. Yes, you did it. Yes, it happened. Yes, it hurt. So what? You're gonna have to live with it. Why? I'm gonna tell it. You ought to say, so what? Not to diminish the fact that it happened, but I'm putting it in its rightful place. You got to put it in its rightful place. So what had happened? Let's move on. Come on, God, help me with this one. I know, co-pastor, that's mean. That's mean. Why would you do that, co-pastor? Why would you say that? I'm saying it for myself too. There's some things I got to put in perspective. It's not worth me stopping doing what God told me to do. It's not worth me not being who God created me to be. There's some days that I don't want to do it. I don't want to move on because I'm hurt. But God says, so okay, I understand that. So what? But what does that have to do with this? You know, what does that have to do with your destiny? What does that have to do with what I promised? What does that have to do with anything? And that's where you have to say, what does that have to do with my future? Nothing or everything. Yes, it can affect you, but you still got to have the in spite of kind of faith. You got to have that in spite of, I've been hurt, but I'm still here. At least I'm still here. Somebody died from what hurt me. Somebody didn't make it. Somebody couldn't take it, and they killed themselves by half of what I went through. Come on now, don't act like people aren't doing things to themselves by stuff that is not even half of maybe what you've been through, but they couldn't take it. But you still here. Are you going to be here? Are you going to exist? Or are you just going to be here? Are you going to be the walking dead? Or are you still going to make an imprint in this life? Are you still going to make an imprint and walk in the calling of God on your life? Or are you going to let the hurt take you out? Are you going to let the hurt keep you in Lodabar? He said, listen, I'm still hurt, but I'm going to the king's table. Hurt and all, I'm going to the king's table. There may always be a reminder of your hurt, but don't let it stop you from getting to the king's table. You may be hurt, but in spite of, I still got faith. Tell the devil, I'm hurt, but I'm here. I'm not going to be defined by the hurt. I won't let the hurt stop me from producing. As a matter of fact, I'll be more like God, and I'll be the best I can, and I will not die. I will survive. Y'all got to sing that song. I'm a survivor. I'm not going to give up. I will still stay alive and make sure I get everything that belongs to me. Anybody like me, I want everything but even those things I don't even know about, because he didn't even know that he had that inheritance. But I want everything I know about and that I don't know about. I want everything that belongs to me. I want to make sure I receive every promise that's been set aside for me. You may not like me and you may not think I deserve anything, but I need to let you know I'm here. I'm hurt, but I'm here. And as long as I'm here, I belong here. The king called me here, and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm hurt, but I'm here, and I belong here. I'm here for my blessing. I'm here for my promise. I'm here for my victory. I'm here for my future. I'm here for my children. I'm here for my family. I'm here for everything that belongs to me, and everything the devil stole from me, I want it all back. Don't let this scar fool you. Yeah, you saw what happened. Don't count me out. I'm present and I'm accounted for. What do you think God has for me? I want everything. I'll continue to trust you, God. I'm hurt, but I'm here. I had to get out of Lodabar, but I'm here. I forgot my identity just for a moment. I was isolated just for a moment, but I heard a word last Sunday, and then it told me to get out of Lodabar. So here I am. Here I am. I had to push my way out. I had to get past some haters. I had to get past some naysayers. I had to get past some people telling me I couldn't do it, but I'm here. Woo! I'm here. I position myself where I need to get everything that God has for me. I lay it all at your feet, God. I come and I say, God, here I am. I realize I don't deserve it, but it's because of your blood. But I'm here, oh God. Here I am, oh God. Whatever you need to do in my life, here I am, oh God. Everything you planned for my life, here I am, oh God. God, I'm hurt, but I'm here. They may have counted me out. They may have discounted me and said I wasn't worth anything, but I'm still here. You ain't gonna make me move out of this position. You ain't pushing me out of the way. I don't care what you think and what you say. I had to fight too many devils. Too Too many times when he told me I wasn't good enough. Too many times when he told me you don't even need to be here. Too many times when he told you couldn't do this. I had to fight past all of that to get here. You think because you notice my scar that I'm going to let you stop me from being where God has called me to be? No, I'm hurt, but I'm here. I'm messed up, but I'm here. I'm crippled, but I'm here. Because I understand when I get to the king's table, he covers all of that. Woo! I just need to get there. As they talked about, you need to get to the altar. You need to run to the altar. You need to get wherever it is God needs you to be. Why? Because I got to get to his table. I got to get to where God has for me. I got to receive everything he has for me. God, thank you that when I come to you, your arms are wide open. Thank you, oh God, for your unconditional love, that I've been hurt, but I'm still in your presence. I've been hurt, but I'm still in your presence. And you let me come into your presence. I don't know about you. When I'm hurt, that's where I run to his presence. There have been things in my life and in your life that have caused us to hurt. But we've survived. Yeah, here's the thing. I don't want you just to survive being in the blue chair. I need you to survive in your everyday life. I need you to access everything that God has for you. Don't be defined by your hurt. Don't stop producing because of your hurt. Don't die, but stay alive. Because there are blessings seeking you out. There's a destiny set for you. There are things that you haven't even accomplished yet that you can't get to if you die here. If you let this pain kill you, you'll never see everything that God has for you if you stop right here because it hurts too bad. Y'all standing everywhere. One of the things I realized that we had physical therapy. We had to do physical therapy. And I remember when we were doing physical therapy, the physical therapist or whatever, they were massaging and it was hurting so bad. And she said, you gotta press through the pain if you're gonna get healed. And I remember there was a lady in there one day, she had surgery on her leg, and her leg had been cut all the way up. And you would think that if she had surgery on her leg, they wouldn't be so rough on her leg. But she was in tears because they were making her bend it. They were making her move it. And she was in tears because it was hurting. And they kept telling her, you got to work through the pain. You got to work through the pain because the healing was coming through her working it. If she didn't, the leg would stay stiff and it would never be able to move. That's why I'm telling you, can't die. You're going to have to work. I know it hurts, but you're going to have to work through the pain. You have to declare, I'm hurt, but I'm here. I ain't going nowhere. You can move me out of my spot. I got hurt, but you ain't moving me. This thing broke me, but you ain't moving me. Anybody got that tenacity today to say, God, I'm hurt, but I'm here. You're not going to move me. Come on, lift your hands all over this place. I'm not going to be moved out of this place because I got hurt. Come on, just declare that in the atmosphere. I'm hurt, but I'm here. Come on, begin to tell them. Tell the devil, first of all, I was hurt, but I'm here. That counts for something. Come on, I need you to declare it in the atmosphere. I've been saying it the whole time. You say it. You begin to tell him, declare, I'm hurt, but if I got to come in with some assistance, I'm still here. If I gotta come in and I gotta, if my legs are hurting, I gotta crawl. This is what I gotta do. But I'm still here. Mephibosheth said, I'm still here. I'm gonna stop thinking about myself as a dead dog, but I'm gonna think of myself as somebody who's worth Every drop of blood that Jesus shed. And because of that, I'm so grateful to him that his blood makes me enough. His blood makes me good enough. Even when you don't think I am, I belong here because of the blood.